Hi guys, welcome back to Scottish Mixed Martial Arts. I'm Martin Hamilton and I'm joined today by Yusuf the Turkish Delight Kurt. How you doing?
I'm doing good, man. I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm all good. So, Yusuf, you're fairly new on the scene of MMA, and you had two wins in 2 months, like straight off the back at Evolution Combat, 8 and 9. Like, how did that feel?
Feel good. Feel pretty good. It's just no rest for the wicked on that one. Like it was straight back in.
Yeah, because is that something that you continuously aim to do? Is to be very, very active?
Yeah, I send Adam like hundreds of different like posts from different fight. Like he's like, you can't fight them because it's that week after it.
Oh, I can imagine these. But it's good. It's good as well that Adam kind of has that pullback on you, like no every week, maybe every month, but no every week.
I fight every week if I could.
I suppose that's the great thing about amateur MMA as well. Like, it's all about experience. It's all just getting rounds in the bag and getting experience within the cage.
That's all I want.
Yeah, you fought in your last fight was in November at Rise and Conquer against Mackenzie Liddell. It was unfortunate. It was a DQ loss. But how did you feel that fight was going for you?
I was just going alright. I was waiting for the later rounds. Like he was like going for the takedowns. He got one, and then the rest of them we never got.
Yeah.
If I was going, like if they went in the later rounds, it was fine. But whatever.
Because at the end of after the fight, there was a bit of kind of back and forth on social media, and you were putting out the rematch. Is that something that you would still look at, or is that a chapter you just want to close?
Nah, whatever happens is whatever.
Yeah.
Like if I never got a text back from him. He just patched me.
But you were then scheduled to fight Sean Conway at Evolution of Combat at the end of the month, but you unfortunately ended up with COVID. How did that fight come about? Because Sean's obviously a weight class above. So how did that fight materialise?
I was meant to fight Finlay right from HMAC in Evolution of Combat. And then I don't know what happened with him, but he had to go, and then Sean stepped in. And then, yeah.
Because is that also a fight that you'd like to pursue again in the future, or are you just kind of on your own path now?
Whatever happens. I fight on this.
Yeah. Is the jump up to featherweight? Is that something that you're going to look at going forward, or was that just a kind of one-off for this fight?
No, feather or bantamweight. That's fine with me.
Yeah, you're just kind of finding your more natural weight class and what's best. Sorry, I missed what you said. It kind of broke up a wee bit.
So the bantamweight was kind of struggle last time.
Yeah, and that's the thing as well. A lot of people probably won't realise, but you're still only 17 years of age, so you've still got a lot of growing. Like you've still got a bit of growing to do as well. So, how you look now, it could be completely different to how you look in a couple of years' time. So, I think getting the experience of featherweight could be huge for you.
Well, my 2 wins were at 68.
Yeah.
So that was like absolutely no cutting.
Yeah.
With me walking in like it was.
But do you feel like fighting at bantamweight against Mackenzie is the whole kind of weight cutting process, because that was so new to you? Did you pick up some kind of like tips to how to do it better in the future and how to make it smoother?
After it, yeah, I did. I didn't do well like during it, but after I started looking well into it, researching.
Yeah, and that's a huge part of being an amateur MMA fighter. It's trial and error for a lot of guys, like finding what works for you and what works for your body, and sometimes that's finding out what doesn't work for you. So if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Because like your gym as well, we were talking about this a wee bit off air, but you've got a lot of established guys in there and a lot of guys coming through the ranks. That your teammate Adam Batley, he's just recently been announced to fight in Cage Warriors Academy, for the featherweight championship. You've got Chris Duncan, who's fought in the Contender Series and and signed for Cage Warriors, and you guys have a great affiliation with Robert Whiteford. How important is it having these guys around you when you're coming through as an amateur?
Oh, it makes it so much easier. Like, so much easier. Because if I didn't, then I'd be trying to figure out everything myself. But no, Adam and Chris always help me with like the tiniest details that they know, because they've been doing it for years. And I've been doing it for like not as long, not as long.
Yeah, so having the kind of older guys allowing you to reach your potential a lot quicker than what it could have been before.
Definitely, it makes it quicker.
Yeah, and it must be a great experience as well to have the guys that are fighting at that level, because like Chris, we all know Chris likes to move around the country, so he's extracting bits of information from all over and like bringing that back to you guys. That you guys are now learning through like American Top Team and huge gyms like that.
Yeah, you go to Four Corners a lot as well. That's really good.
Yeah, that's a gym down in Liverpool, isn't it?
Yeah. I think what's it? Liam Harvey plays or something.
Right. So, see, through having like kind of guys like that in your gym, like the level of sparring partners you must have access to must be hugely improving every month.
Yeah, it's getting better every month. Yeah.
Yeah, and I suppose if you're sparring with guys that fight at that level, like some of the guys that you're fighting with, like they won't be on that level. So it's that whole kind of cliche of your hardest rounds will probably be in the gym.
Oh, it gives me confidence walking it. It's like, I don't think that guy's gonna beat anyone in that. That's what I think.
Yeah, not absolutely, because if there was ever a time that you were going to break, you would break in the gym under the pressure of these guys rather than the fight.
Yeah, 100%. That's exactly what happens.
Moving on to your next fight, because unfortunately the fight with Sean Conway was cancelled due to yourself catching COVID, but you've now been rescheduled to fight Gabri Garcia, who is a terrible person to try and find anything about online, because as soon as you type in Gabri Garcia, it keeps telling you, did you mean Gabby Garcia?
I was like, there's no way I'm fighting on.
Her traps are massive. She is huge. But how do you see your fight with Gabri going? Like, there's not a lot that you can find out about Gabri online. So how do you see it going?
I know absolutely nothing about him.
Yeah.
They changed the H mark.
Yeah, he's one of. Is he one of Ross Houston's? Yeah, he's his gym. Yeah.
He's 1-0. That's literally all I know about.
How do you feel about that, getting into a fight and not having a lot of information on your opponent? Does that help you like mentally because you're not overanalyzing?
That one's kind of alright, because this is like the first time I'm going in any fight with more experience in the guy. Yeah. This is pretty new to me. Like, every guy that I've fought has had like more fights. Like, even though Harry Welsh had his MMA debut, he had like a few boxing fights as well. Like, more than I've had, obviously.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, every guy I've fought is more experienced than, but this guy's new. Like, you know what I mean? He's not had that many fights, or one fight.
Yeah.
Helps a lot.
Yeah, that must be a good change for you as well. Like, you getting in the more experienced guy who's had more cage time.
Yeah. It's like Mackenzie Liddell, he had hundreds of amateur fights, like B-class and all that.
Yeah.
He gets to competition. So yeah, it's pretty good.
Yeah, because that's the thing as well that always that always comes out about you is how game. Yeah, like that's meant in like the nicest way possible. Because every time you see that you're matched up against someone, it's like you're out there searching for the hardest fights, but you're willing to go up and you're willing to fight guys like Sean Conway. You're willing to fight Mackenzie Liddell, who a lot of people see as one of the best under 18 bantamweights in the country. But you seem to be searching out the hardest fights. Is that something you and Adam plan to do?
Nothing keep coming to me. I just seem to keep getting them. I just like ask Adam for a fight, like for any matchups, and then I just seem to be getting all the hardest ones. I'm not asking for them, but they just seem to keep happening. But that's it, no.
But I suppose that will hugely benefit you as well, because the experience that you're getting a lot better experience, like straight off the bat, than a lot of other guys get. Because you're in there, you're fighting the hardest fights, you're fighting great fighters. So even in your fights, you're experiencing adversity at a young stage of your career, where as guys that go out and look for, I'll air quotes, the easy fights, they're going out and they're stopping these guys in the first round. They're stopping them within 30 seconds, and they're not really gaining anything from these fights. Like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, and like
I would like to stop someone in 30 seconds, but I don't know. I don't know how that's going to go down.
I wanted to ask you as well, because you've got one of my most favourite nicknames in MMA. Like, I just find the Turkish delight hilarious. Who was it that came up with that?
Chris did.
Was it?
Like 2 years ago, when I first started training with that team, he just came up with my. I actually can't even mind the conversation, but it was. I mind it was on like Evolution Combat. They gave the forms out. Like,
yeah.
Online, and I was thinking, should I do a nickname? What should I do? I was like I don't want to sound like a gimp, like what a bit like, I don't know, like something. And then I was like, come on, I mean they'll go Turkish delight is just brilliant. But yeah.
But to be fair, it is a great nickname, and fortunately it doesn't make you sound like a gimp, which is always a bonus.
No, I've always got that on my opponents. Any opponent, like, just no got the better nickname. Like, you could win. You could, like, knock me out, submit me. You're just no getting that. You know what I mean?
But Yusuf, just the last question before I let you go, because I know you're very busy and you're in your training camp at the moment. But what are your plans for 2022?
Oh, I'm mainly just trying to fight as much as I can.
Yeah.
Like, as much as I can. And then another one is like jiu-jitsu competitions. So I want to do a lot of them this year.
Yeah.
Like all the ones at Motherwell. I think there's 3 at Motherwell this year. So I'll do all of them.
Yeah, they're in Ravenscraig Centre or something, aren't they?
We already got the first one in March. And then I think it's June and September.
Yeah. Because we were talking a wee bit off air as well, and you were saying that you're still 17, so you can't yet compete in the adult bracket. Are you 18 this year? So is that something that you'll look at going forward to the year, is competing adult?
18 in May.
Yeah.
So the other 2 ones will be adult divisions.
Right.
Really much better.
Because this is quite funny to me, but it seems that a lot of 17-year-olds, but they can't wait to turn 18 to start hitting the pubs, whereas you can't wait to turn 18 to start strangling older guys on a mat.
That's exactly what we're thinking.
You were saying as well that you've not long started training at Crown and Glory MMA or Evolution Gym. Where was it you were before that? MSP. Is that roundabout Stirling as well?
Yeah. Like as soon as Adam moved to other gym, like right. to I'm going.
Oh, so Adam kind of goes between the 2?
No, he's got his own gym now.
Oh, right, yeah. No, that's absolutely brilliant, and thanks very much for your time. It's been hugely appreciated.
Pleasure.
Thanks for listening, guys, and I'll catch you later.